As I'm covering the St. Paul mayoral election tonight, and joining me right now is incumbent Mayor Melvin Carter. Nice enough to talk with us, and just wanted to first find out how you're feeling today and how you're spending your election day.
We're spending our day today. Thank you. We're spending our day today talking to voters in every corner of the city. We're stopping in on senior homes and college campuses and knocking on folks' doors, and it's actually feeling really, really positive today.
So the city obviously is facing, you're asking for a third term. The city is facing a number of challenges, among them the struggling downtown, some struggling neighborhoods. What is your top priority if you do receive a third term? What will be your top priorities?
Well, the conversations we're having with folks today center around really three things. One, gun violence being down 70% in this city. Two, the Trump administration trying to target us because we've said that our police officers will never be immigration agents. And three, our focus on building the infrastructure of the future. I fundamentally believe that if our goal is, we have to decide whether our goal is to sort of preserve the city that our parents loved or build the city that our children deserve. And we're having those conversations around there. Translating that forward, that means focusing on our opioid crisis, focusing on the downtown challenges, the generational downtown challenges you mentioned, and absolutely focused on building as much new housing as we can, as fast as we can.
What is your solution for like the downtown? Or what do you, I know in your budget proposal, you're asking for subsidies to help, convert some of those downtown office buildings into apartment buildings. Is that your kind of solution, or is that just one part of it?
That's one big focus of it. All of the downtowns that fared best through the pandemic have a lot more residents than we do. We have about 9,000 residents downtown. We need about 30,000 residents. So our plan calls for 20,000 more residents downtown. And let me tell you, if we have 20,000 more residents downtown, it'll be a whole lot easier keeping a grocery store open, keeping a pizza shop open, keeping bars and restaurants and things like that open. And the second big component of that is renovating the Grand Casino Arena. As we hear candidates talk about the need for more energy downtown and then oppose our plan to renovate the Grand Casino Arena as a vibrant, thriving centerpiece of all of that, that's sort of a head scratcher. So that's the conversation we're having with folks, and it's going well.
What would you say your major accomplishments have been as mayor in your first two terms? What are you kind of hanging your hat on when you're asked for the third term?
We've obviously been through some of the biggest crises our country has ever faced, our world has ever faced, certainly that our city has ever faced, and I think St. Paul has come through those as well as any community has. I'm very, very proud. To me, a 70% reduction in gun violence is very sacred. That's lives that we're saving.
And you did that through kind of forcing or asking the police department to kind of look at solving non-fatal shootings as one of the components.
Not really forcing or asking, but resourcing them to, investing in them to say, we treat every gunshot wound. If somebody gets shot in their pinky toe in St. Paul today, you'll see our St. Paul police officers do the exact same thing they would if there was a homicide, which means we've absolutely ramped up our solve rate for non-fatal shootings from just over 20% to just over 70%, which has driven gunfire way down in our city.
Some of your critics have said, that, it's been, you've been focusing on downtown and kind of revitalizing that. Maybe some of the neighborhoods maybe have had a hard time getting your attention for that. Would that change in the third term, or do you agree with that characterization?
Well, the problem with that argument is that the biggest challenge we hear downtown, the biggest challenges we hear in the neighborhoods as that 70% gunfire reduction is citywide. When I ran for re-election 4 years ago, the biggest conversation citywide was about gunfire. We're not having any conversations about gunfire right now because we have so much less than we used to. 2 years ago, the whole conversation citywide centered around potholes. We get more complaints now about road construction than we do potholes. So the biggest concern we hear from our neighborhoods is a concern about property taxes. And the way to address those concerns is to rebalance the scale between our downtown and our neighborhoods so that we can continue to push forward with a downtown that's contributing a lot more to our property taxes again. And so that's why our focus has been on downtown. It's actually responsive to the concerns that we have around our neighborhoods.
Why should voters pick you as opposed to one of your opponents to vote for today?
I think voters should pick themselves. Right. What we've bet on, what we've doubled down on is the energy and the brilliance and the creativity that already exists in the city. It's why every member of my cabinet has been appointed through what we call our community-based hiring process. It's why every budget that I bring to the city council has the fingerprints of a couple hundred residents on it before we propose it. It's why every major policy we do through we vet through hundreds of community members. The value proposition has never been how great I am. It's how amazing we can be if we all do this work together.
And my understanding is Ramsey County is trying a new system this year for the election, so that we may find out, kind of, it's ranked choice voting, but I don't know if you know much about this, but we could get the results relatively quickly. If you could talk a little bit about that, I guess.
Well, that's our plan. We'd love to see that. We expect it to be close. We expect a high turnout. There seems to be a lot of energy in the city, and that's a great thing for our city. It does. We're hearing from the Ramsey County folks. They expect to have a final count here tonight, so we look forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you so much and really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks a bunch. I'm going to knock on some more doors.
There you go. And pick up your daughter.
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Thank you very much. See you later. All right. Well, we will be, of course, following this race for the rest of the evening. But for now, I'll send it back to you.